Hello, Zach.
Hello, Aaron.
This is a game called Enter the Gungeon. Have you played this game?
I have heard of this game, but I have not played it, no.
This is a roguelike, and I really like the art style. And the premise of it is that there is a gun that can, shoot the past. So, it's in this dungeon, or gungeon, rather.
Oh, because it sounds like maybe a gun that shoots dungeons.
They go into this gungeon, and each person has... Oh, I died.
You have died.
Each person has, a kind of bad past. And you go in and you're trying to get to the end and destroy or, erase a bad thing about your past. And each person has an interesting little trait. Like, I'm playing the Space Marine, and I think he starts out with a space blaster and an armor. So there's a bunch of little weird things. The thing I like about games like this is they don't really tell you outright about stuff. They just sort of throw you in the world and you emergently discover.
That's very interesting to me.
Secrets.
So what? There's other classes?
Well, there's more just different characters. So this is one, and then there's the convict, which is this woman who, and everyone has a little perk as well. So the convict, when she gets hurt, she gets enraged for a little bit, and they all start with a different gun as well. But there's not exactly classes. There's just look at this beautiful art style. You can knock tables over.
I do like pixel art. Is this a twin stick shooter? It's looking very twin stick shootery.
Yeah, I played it with a mouse and keyboard, but it is on consoles as well as it's on Nintendo Switch as well.
This would definitely look like a good game to play on Switch.
Not only that, I hear that the Nintendo Switch one is the easiest because they turned up the auto aim a little bit. So this is another thing about this game. There's not hundreds, but there's a ton of guns in it, and you're constantly finding them to add to your arsenal. Your first gun, your primary, you have infinite ammo of, but you're always picking up different guns. So I just picked up a flame gun, and I'm conserving ammo because I'm going to use it in the boss, but it's
so
sort
it
of
is
like a value.
limited.
It's limited, and it's a value proposition as well. You'll see in the top left, I have keys, and usually the only way to get guns is to spend a key, or there's shops on every level as well. But there could be other things lurking around, so you have to conserve your keys.
What are the things you're shooting?
Those are little bullet men.
Little bullet. They look like shotgun cartridges.
Well, yeah, those guys are shotgun cartridges. This is a ghost with a Tommy gun right here, so you gotta look out for that. There's a bunch of different interesting enemy types, and there's a bunch, every stage there's a different set of enemies, pretty much. And they get progressively harder and harder. See, I just took a thing about this game, one of the things they don't tell you is that if you don't take any damage for and you beat a boss, then you get another heart, which is really, really good. You also get, more bonus stuff.
How do you recover health otherwise? Or can you not?
You maybe find it, or you can buy it, but it's very hard to come by.
So, in the past, I want to say that you have been very turned off by twin stick shooters just because they can be very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
How would you say this one's different, or why has this one gotten your attention?
Well, I really like the art style, and it is definitely very difficult for me, but you see I'm dodging, you can jump and dodge. That makes it a little less hectic because I feel like I can get away really quickly. And actually later on in the video I get something that helps me do that. But I don't know, I think it's mainly the art style that I like. And I love the music, and I don't know, it's very interesting. And it's an interesting story as well to me.
Did you ever play Hotline Miami?
Yeah, I love that game.
How similar is this to that?
That one, I was a lot more stressed out all the time. And also that one had immediate, you died and you were right back into it. Whereas this one, when you die, you'll see, because I die eventually, there's an animation, and then you have to go back and pick a character again, and you're not over and over. Because I feel like Hotline Miami, and Hotline Miami 2 as well, there were save points, And so you would beat like a section, and then if you started dying, you would just keep respawning, and you would sort of brute force your way through a level. Whereas this is more like when you're in for a run, you're in it, and if you mess up, then you have to start. Here's something else. There's a barrel of water or gasoline here or something. There's always a barrel in a level, in the first level. And if you push it into a fireplace, then something happens.
Oh, so you just sort of discover these little secrets?
Exactly, yeah. And that does something, but I can't remember what.
So
Because it's been a while since I played this.
How long does like a run normally take to actually like complete?
I would say like maybe an hour and a half, because I believe it's been a while, but I believe there's 3 or 4 levels, and then you get to the end, and then if you've done everything right, then you get to kill your past, which is another level, which has like a crazy mechanic and an interesting thing. So it can take like maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on your luck and just like what's been going on. Maybe less than that, actually.
So I'm normally fairly turned off by roguelikes because I don't like the idea that I can spend like a half hour to an hour playing something and then die and have to start all over and replay everything I just did. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you don't mind, or that doesn't bother you?
I don't super mind it because I like games that I can just like play for 30 minutes, pick up for 30 minutes and let go. Like you are earning some things that carry over. Like you're earning this special currency. When you beat a boss, you earn a special currency that we'll talk about in a later part of the video that you can spend to unlock things outside of the Gungeon. Like different weapons will become available if you spend your points. But by and large, yeah, this is like, if you die, you don't really get a lot. This is the shop. There's a shop in every level. So look, you can buy half a heart or a super soaker.
Okay.
There's some secrets in here as well. But yeah, you don't really, it doesn't really carry over, unfortunately.
That was going to be my next question is, is there any sort of progression so that it doesn't feel quite as punishing? Because I feel like a lot of modern roguelikes will sort of have something that carries over between runs. Would you say there's something like that for this game?
Not really. I just got an item that lets me dodge more. Not really. See, I have that thing in the upper right that says 3 next to it. That's the currency where you buy things outside of the Gungeon. But if you don't beat bosses, which is, like, when you first start playing this, it's a little bit difficult to beat bosses, you aren't really earning a ton of that. I mean, it can feel like that you're beating your head against a wall at times, but it's beautifully animated, and I have detected very little repetition in its randomly generated levels, so it's always something a little new.
So these are like procedurally generated?
Yeah, it's different every time.
Okay, I was going to ask if there was like, you get used to kind of the patterns of things, and then you sort of, where all the secrets are, where like the weapon pickups and the armor or whatever is, so that you can sort of, that helps you learn and make it further the next time you go.
I just activated something, but I can't remember what it is. But it's definitely, I think doing that lets you go to the sewers. But what was your question? Sorry.
What was my question? What was my question?
Even you weren't listening to you, Zach. So this is the first boss.
I got distracted by what you said.
The first boss is random. I got the bird one. And there's a cool little animation. Gatling Gull.
Whoa.
Spoiler alert, I don't do well on this. But, it can be, I think there's a pretty wide number of bosses, and so the first boss you run into has a chance to be a lot of different things. The Gull, I think, is ironically one of the easier ones. I just am bad because I haven't played this in a while. But, yeah, see, I'm down.
It does seem like there's a lot going on screen right now.
There is a lot going on. The boss fights are definitely my least favorite part of this. I'm more like the exploring... Oh, I died.
Yeah,
I'm more like the
lot.
exploring and picking guns up and stuff. But here's a little summary, all the guns and items I got and the time and whatnot. So, the last part of this. So there's the hunter who has like a dog with her and it starts with a crossbow. The pilot who can pick a lock and has a space blaster. This is the convict who is another really great character. This is just like the Halls of Knowledge, which is not super interesting. And here I'll show you the. There's this little dragon man who's drinking. A great thing about this game is that a lot of the guns are references to popular media.
I was going to ask if any of this was based on like other pop culture properties.
Yeah, like so there's a Blade Runner gun, but it's not called that. And there's like the gun from Earthworm Jim. I'm about to show you a bunch of them. But like pretty much if there is an iconic gun in a game, there is an analog in this game that has like a cheeky name. So I just unlocked the Hegemony carbine, so now that'll appear in a Gungeon. But here's all the things I've unlocked so far, and there's a bunch of mystery ones. And they all have crazy different traits. So it's fun to... And they're adding... I think it's still actively being developed a little bit, so they're adding guns all the time.
So are these... It's just like a sort of a check book thing where like, oh, you found this one during one of your runs, so it's now in this book like unlocked, but you can't just like grab it and use it?
No, you cannot. There's unlockable characters, but you can't unlock like loadouts or anything.
Are there multiple... So you had to fight that one hawk boss or whatever. Once you beat him, how many more of them are there?
I think there's 4 or 5 levels to the Gungeon. I can't remember. I also am terrible at this game, so I don't think I've ever made it past the 3rd one. But and each level has like a couple of bosses that it can have. So this is a really cool gun. This still warm gun. But anyway, that was Enter the Gungeon. So I don't know. You should check it out. Maybe you get it for Switch.
Is there a co-op for this?
Yes, on Switch there is. Only on Switch.
Can you play it online on Switch?
No. Goodbye.